Davide, thank you very much for joining me today, buddy. All the way from LA to Dubai. It's definitely a first for me, and I know we're going to be talking about some very serious things for you today. What's going to be not just an exclusive talk with you, but a world exclusive for my podcast, and telling the story that the public's been wanting to hear for a long time. So thank you very much for picking us to share it with.
No, you're welcome. And yes, good morning for me, good evening for you. Fortunately, we'll be able to do this chat from a long distance. As you well said, I'm in LA at the moment. I moved here 3 months ago. Yes, we're going to be talking about interesting things. Of course, I didn't want to, I've been quiet all over these months, since my breakup with my ex since January. We are in September. I genuinely wanted to avoid to have this conversation after 8 months. But when I see, that my name has been all over, there's only so much that I can take. I think everyone should be treated fairly.
Well, listen, before we get into all the, all the stories about Ekin-Su and addressing all of the rumours that you've just been talking about now, I want to go back in time to set the scene, really. I'm sure a lot of people who are watching this or listening to this may know who you are lately, because obviously you've been in the press quite a lot, but they may not have seen Love Island, they may not know about your background and your backstory. So I'd just like to go back to the beginning, really, and talk about, who is Davide? Where did he come from, and how did you get to where you are today?
I remember, 6 years ago, I was studying in Italy. I was at the university in Rome, and I was studying banking and finance. I have a master's degree in banking and finance, and so I said to myself, I'm in banking and finance. If I want to really aim high in my life, I need to be able to speak in English. And back 5-6 years ago, I was not really confident. I didn't know English back then. So I've been brave enough to move to the UK, originally just to study. So I completed my university. But, after the uni, I decided to stay in UK.
Why did you choose England to study in the first place? Obviously a very brave move, given that you didn't speak much English at the time either.
I wanted to learn English. It's the only chance I have to actually learn English once and for all, and, probably change my future. I probably start feeling more at home in England, especially in Manchester, rather than in Italy. Yes, from Italy, I probably miss my parents, my mom, my sister, my dad. But I was more feeling at home in UK. That's why I decided to stay after uni. And as I started working, I've done 1 year in a trust corporation as a financial officer. Then I've done 1 year in a debt management industry, so as accounts assistant. My goal was to be a financial analyst, so I actually have a couple of certifications as financial analyst. So I was getting, also in finance and real estate. And then something happened. Well, what happened? Happened COVID, a bit for everyone. Just before COVID, I opened a small business. It was giving me enough money, enough cash flow to live week by week.
Hey, Matt here, just interrupting myself to say, can you believe that 62% of listeners to this podcast don't actually subscribe? Now, I know you like it because you listen to it, you come back and the stats are great, but 62% of you don't actually subscribe. So make sure you subscribe, whether that's on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, wherever you listen to your content or watch your content, and make sure that you never miss a future episode. What was the business?
So I was working Monday to Friday. I was still working in the office. And Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so on the weekend, I was basically providing electric shishas in restaurant and nightclubs around the Manchester area. So I noticed the London, any club in London, any major club in London had electric shishas inside the nightclubs. I basically opened a limited company. I was buying these devices from France, from China, from abroad, and basically delivering in the UK.
How was that? Was it a successful business? Did you enjoy life as an entrepreneur?
Back then I was 24, 25 years old. I still had my, my job from Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 in an office. So it was kind of an extra side business. I was happy with that. But at the same time, I was feeling like, I want to be more focused on my career. I want to be a financial analyst. I was living in UK for a while. I was more confident in my English. I was single. I was actually looking, for love. I mean, I couldn't ever find someone that I really liked. So I said, why not? I done then the application process and I went through it. And then in June, so from January to June was the application process. And then in June, I entered the villa.
June time, you go into the villa. What was it like? Tell me about the first day. Tell me about your experience.
So June time, I go into the villa. Of course, I was super happy. I was just thinking about bringing the best shape that I could bring. So I was training hard, dieting. I remember we had a 2 weeks quarantine in the villa. So you basically spend 2 weeks in a villa before entering the actual villa with just a chaperone. So someone that is hired from ITV, they is just there to make you company, just so you don't become crazy because you are alone in a villa and you don't have anyone to speak with. So they put you this person, and I think I had one of the best experience of my life, probably even better than the actual villa. Because imagine you are in this small villa with just a person that is paid to be there to make you company, and then they think about everything. They bring you food, they make sure that you have a good time, that you don't feel stressed. They take you away the phone. So at the same time, you don't have all the stress from the external world. You just think about being there. I was just getting sun, getting tan, watching. I watch the full Peaky Blinders. I remember every night we were watching. Me and my chaperone 2 episodes of Peaky Blinders. In the morning we were playing PlayStation. I've been lucky that he brought the PlayStation. I don't usually play video games, but he brought it. I had nothing to do. I didn't have my phone, so we enjoyed some time playing the PlayStation. And then and I was just excited to enter. One of my main fear was actually my language, because I said, what about I enter and the British audience that doesn't get my humor? What about they don't understand my language? So this was one of my main fear, not being able to arrive to the public. So for me, one of the main success from the villa has been actually the fact that the British audience loved my values, loved my characters, loved my humorism, because it was one of my main fear when I entered. So coming out from the villa, when I saw that I had so much love from the people, and the fact that they actually loved my humor and appreciated it, was one, of the main success from it.
I never watched the show, so you'll have to tell me, how did the people in the villa react to you? I mean, did they like your humor? Did they like your attitude and outlook on life?
Yeah, I mean, I guess they loved my attitude, my funny side, the fact that I had always a line ready in any circumstances. But that's who I am. I mean, it's not like I didn't fake it inside there. And I think that probably people appreciated that, the fact they saw a genuine person that was there actually just to have fun and to find love. And was not there for the camera, was not there to become famous. Because it's actually the truth. Before going there, I always said to myself, you know what, of course, if I find love, I wish I find love inside the villa. But of course, I'm not 100% sure until I don't go there. So for the time being, I just want to go there, have fun. Yes, maybe I was thinking back then, flirt with some girls, tanning, having 2 months like in Spain, like a bit of a holiday, no?
Of course. So we talk about getting close to a person. We're here today mainly to talk about Ekin-Su. So tell me, when did you first meet her? Did she walk into the villa the day you walked into the villa, or did she come in on a different day? And how did you feel? What was your reaction when you first saw her?
So no, it makes me laugh already. But so I walked in. I walked into the villa, yes, as a bombshell, but the first day, the first night, I was a bit stressed. I think it's normal. And I coupled up with Gemma. I think was the only girl inside there that I fancied. I also know, though, that she was a bit young for me. I mean, she was 19 when I was 27. So despite the physical attraction that there was not a lot of conversations. When I saw Ekin-Su entering the villa, I said, yes, okay, she was a nice looking girl, but the world is plenty, or the world is full of good looking girls. I remember I went to one of the producers and I said, I'm tired. I cannot cope with this girl. I think it was she had some drama with Jay, the one that everyone knows, the fact that when she went on the terrace, she kissed Jay, and then she lied to me saying that she didn't kiss Jay. I kind of gave a chance to the relationship, and I said, you know what, let's try. And I'm not gonna lie, of course, over the time, I start feeling something for the girl, and especially when we came out and we came in the real world, and so we've been able to go restaurants, to go holiday, to to go and meet each other parents, to go out with friends. Of course, things start changing, and I start feeling love for this person. And I think...
So, just to interrupt, Davide, for the people who didn't see the show, how far did you and Ekin-Su get together in the show? Did you finish, coupled up, or did you leave at separate times?
Oh, no, yeah, well, we won the show together, so we received a lot of votes from the public. I think around 70% from the general public vote, and we won the show together. So I said to myself, okay, let's try to give a chance to this relationship.
So, and when you came out of the villa, do you move in together straight away? I mean, I guess you must have a lot of press and work to do. I mean, were you staying in hotels, staying in each other's house? Spending a lot of together time in the real world?
We moved together in the beginning of November, so I feel like September, October, that 2 months. We kind of spend a bit everywhere. So sometimes she was in Manchester at my home. Sometimes we were down in London in hotels. Sometimes we were traveling for some work. So yeah, the first 6, 7, 8 months has been a lot of work, a bit everywhere around, which was nice. And I think like when we had our trip to New York, I remember she was with Opolli, I was with Boohoo Man. We were both in Times Square. I think like both of us can agree on that. We both start feeling real love from the trip in New York. So kind of after New York, we kind of start feeling as a proper couple with real feeling, real love.
And what time scale was New York? That was around the Christmas time, was it?
Yeah, just a bit before we moved in together. So end of October was New York, and the beginning of November was we moved in together in a penthouse in London. Something was wrong. I was not feeling happy, despite I had everything. So imagine the 5 years before I arrived in Manchester, I didn't even know English. I wanted to get a job in finance, and imagine 5 years after, after I've done some working in finance, I even go on a TV show, I get famous. I have the girl love of my dreams. I have everything I wanted. I had a nice car. I had watches. I had a cool travel whenever I want. But deep inside, I was not feeling happy. So there was something wrong in that relationship that was dragging me down.
And you think it was just the relationship that was causing you to feel unhappy, or just what was lacking in the relationship? There was no other holes or other parts of your life lacking that could have been leading to that?
I think was more the fact that trying to let me feel a bit less, let me feel unworthy as a man,
What would she do? I mean, give me an example of something that she would do to put you down, or do to make you, not feel like a man.
I mean, there's no specific example. Basically, everyone was telling me. And I think even people on Instagram realized, they were like, Davide, how come you don't put any more out funny stuff? How come you don't show more your personality? But I think I was not living, I was not well inside me.
And how did this make you react towards Ekin-Su? Did you start to, I guess, were you losing interest in the relationship? Were you starting to behave differently or badly to her?
I never wanted to do something to actually hurt her, because I actually loved that person. I think after the trip in New York, we start actually loving each other, and we start acting as a proper normal couple. So I was doing everything from her. I was supporting her every day, every night. She was maybe down because something at work happened, or because maybe something on the press happened. But at the same time, I was not feeling the Davide as always. I was not feeling appreciated. I was not feeling respected. We probably were the most famous couple in the UK. So I always felt she had a kind of double face with me. And I always felt like I was the one that was trying to promote the relationship in terms of, I was trying to do the best for the relationship. And she was always trying, instead, she was caring more about herself than about the couple. So I think we were a bit in two different levels. Yes, she can claim that she always wanted to marry me, she always wanted to have kids with me, all these things, but it's not what I was feeling at home. What has been told to me just a couple of months ago, so I don't know if you know, but I've been approached by her ex, and I think that she actually mentioned in the book. And this person, the way this person speaks, I can see myself in a lot of words that he says. And why I say that? Because he's basically been approaching me saying they were together before Ekin went to the villa, and they were still speaking before the villa, during quarantine, and just after the villa. And I couldn't believe at the beginning, but he sent me screenshot and proof that they were actually speaking. So by that, when I told you that I was really emotionally intelligent and I could see the truth.
If they were still talking when she'd come out of the villa, when did they actually finish speaking, and what caused the end of them speaking?
So this is something actually that I don't know. I think he's also a bit scared, so he sent me some proof. Of course, he didn't send me the whole conversation, but from the proof he sent me, it seems like the two of them, they were speaking before she entering the villa, so when she was in quarantine. So imagine they take the phone away from us. And when they took the phone away from me, I sent a message to my mom, I sent a message to my friends, and they said, I love you guys, don't worry, I'll be okay. You guys can watch me on TV, blah, 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 blah. And then I turned my phone off. When she did that, according to what this guy is saying, it showed me, so the two of them, they were clearly speaking before. And the two of them, they were clearly speaking after.
Let's just go back a little bit in the story, because obviously we've just I guess started to talk about some of the book, which we'll come to soon. But just going back to when you guys were first in the relationship, so we've got to the point where things were starting to fall apart for you. When did the first breakup happen, and what caused that?
So if I need to be honest with you, the first breakup has been so she was in Turkey, I was in Manchester. When we are a public figure, so it could happen that some fans send something to her and say, oh, Davide is doing that. And she basically write me and say, oh, Davide, what are you doing? Some people just message me these things. And it's just a friend, it's a friend of my friend. Basically, we start arguing over that, and she closed the phone. Mate, I went mad, because at least talk to the boyfriend, reassure him. You need to kind of sympathize with him and see and understand how he's feeling. At the same way, when people send things to you, I sympathize with you and try to understand how you're feeling. There was tension between us. We were also going through a very personal, we were going through a very personal moment, both of us, not just her, as she proclaimed. So both of us, doesn't mean that I was not suffering as well. So we were also going as well already towards a tough path. And the fact that you don't pick up the phone, don't give me explanation, and your mom says something like that about me on the back on the phone, honestly pissed me off. I was also having troubles with my management. You can also imagine I was dealing with personal stuff with Ekin. I was dealing with the breakup. I was dealing with the public pressure, the press, people. We had a lot of public pressure in that period, because we were probably the most talked couple in UK. I'm a human. I'm not a robot. So we didn't lose contact completely. So after a month, I couldn't. The love doesn't go away like this. I basically flew from LA to England, or from LA to Turkey straight away. But basically, we went in Turkey to celebrate her birthday, because she wanted to be in Turkey. So despite we were not together, I went back to Turkey to make sure that she was not alone at her birthday, basically.
And did you get back together then?
After the birthday, yes, we kind of get back together. So we started working on things. We probably tried to understand each other more.
I just want to go back to a couple of things just before that first breakup. How was your relationship with the mother at that point, and how? Well, clearly the answer is not very good. But how would it become like that? Was she a very vocal force in Ekin-Su's life? Why do you think she had a problem with you?
I didn't feel hate from the mom of Ekin, but at the same time, circumstances when like this, when there were an argument, maybe because of both of them, their personality probably, they need to command you. They need to have the situation under control.
And why do you think the mother was like this? I mean, do you think it was just that she was like that and she would have been like that with anybody? Or do you think she had a particular problem with you and, her daughter and you being together?
No, I think the fact that their ex-boyfriend wrote me and described Ekin-Su and the mom in the same way, or kind of the same way, pretty much, that I could describe them, it let me feel, yes, that I'm not the only one. The fact that, if you think about it, I was, of course, enjoying my time. I loved that person, but at the same time, I still felt young. I'm not saying that I'm an angel. Think about it. For 1 year and a half, this girl is saying that I cheated on her. There was, what else did she say? There was, what else did she say? I don't even know. I don't listen to her.
I don't know, but let's just go back to the cheating allegations for a moment, because, and I don't know if the timeline was that happened around the time of the first breakup, but I believe that she found
cheating. What does she mean? Cheating physically, mentally? Because I mean,
I believe she found some messages. She found some explicit messages on your computer.
There were some messages that, of course, was not nice to see on her on my phone, on my laptop. But that doesn't give proof that I cheated. There's no example that.
But did you cheat?
As I said before, I seeked someone else's attention. And I feel the fact that I seek someone else's attention, that my guy, or maybe I done some extra party more than often, is because probably the way I was feeling in the relationship. I think it was a way to escape how down I was feeling. The fact that I was I was not feeling understood by her. I was not feeling understood by my management. I was receiving a lot of accusation on the press that was not even truth.
But when you were seeking other attention, I mean, are we talking about just texting and calling, or are we kissing, we're having sex?
No, I mean, I always, she's a very jealous person. I mean, maybe even out of a message, it was just a friendly and a bit more, like I was not even allowed to follow a girl on Instagram. Who is this girl? But listen, I work on Instagram as much as you work with Instagram. This person is just a friend. I live with you. I'm 24 hours at home with you. I do everything for you. I support you at home even when you come back from work. I do everything. Why you need to put me on a prison in a bubble? Or no, don't follow this girl. Or no, don't speak to that person. There was a lack of trust that I think is something I was missing in our relationship, probably since the villa. She betrayed me in the villa. I always had, despite that I love her, but I had that 1% of me on the back of my head that I said, this girl is acting with me. And this is probably why I arrived to the moment to actually propose to her or get married to her. I wanted to actually see where our relationship was going.
I have just one name on my notes, which is Harriet Wilson, which I think was someone that you were specifically accused of cheating with. I mean, is there anything you can say about that?
I mean, she's actually the girlfriend of one of my best mates. We had something in the past. I'm not gonna lie with this girl, and the fact that I had something in the past before acting with this girl. But my friend and this girl, they actually stick together, and I spend the Christmas with them. I spend times with them. Sometimes people make up stories out of nothing.
So you got back together. If we're going back in the time on the story, how was that time together? And I think there was some specific incidents before you mentioned breaking up before she went into I forget what it's called.
I mean, yeah, she went to September as soon as we get back together. Then she went to film Traitors, and I'd like to speak about this because I've been accused that when she was inside Traitors, I made the headlines. So I'm going to tell you how happened the story, because I think people also need to understand how things works from a person like me that in disguise is on the spotlight. So that night, Ekin knew I was going to go out, first of all, because she knew that I had to see my friends that night since weeks. So she knew that despite she was going to go in Traitors and film Traitors, I was going to go out that night. Of course, I knew that there were people out there waiting for me to fail, because they knew that Ekin was gonna go and film Traitors. I remember when I walked in the pub or in the restaurant, there were pubs outside, and I said, I was not with the girl Harriet, but I said to my friends, I said, I don't wanna they take a picture of me, because I already know that they wanna write something nasty. And I remember I have phone calls on. Actually, I'm gonna tell you what happened. So I saw the pubs and I said to my friends, I knew the manager of the restaurant, and I said, please let me enter from the back because they are clearly there waiting for me. So I entered from the back. They didn't catch me at the door. Then with the paparazzi, what he did a picture from the bathroom. So as soon as I came out from the toilet, there was a kind of bridge with full of glass mirror, and he took a picture from the outside to the second floor from the window just to show that I was inside the restaurant. Why this? Because the same girl, Harriet, was entering the restaurant, and us two, we were not organized in any chance. Like, I didn't know she was coming. She didn't know I was there. But the pubs, once saw both of us, they took a picture of her. They took a picture of me from the windows. Automatically in the newspaper, oh, Davide is partying with Harry. Of course, I felt sorry. And I remember after that, I even made a story. And I say, wow, this is actually disgusting. I think I went viral that wow, this is actually disgusting, because the last things I wanted is Ekin coming out from the show and see me making the headline from Harriet. But it was something that I couldn't control. It was something that, I went there because I'm free to do whatever I want. I'm a 29 years old boy, and Ekin knew I was going to go out to the restaurant with my friends. So I go to the restaurant with my friends. If the person is coming in the restaurant as well, I cannot control it. If someone take a picture of her, a picture of me, they were not even close. I was on the toilet from the window, and she was at the door at the entrance. But they say we are in the same restaurant partying together. Out of what? Out of what? Do you understand what I'm coming from? I was kind of start feeling tired of it,
Tell me about a couple of the other incidents where I guess there's been two very different sides to the story, that Ekin-Su has written about in the book. I believe there was the Ibiza incident, and there's also the story about where you were proposing to making joke content, and the mother got involved again.
Yeah, I think this is actually a joke. So we were. Just to give you the scenery, we were in the last Christmas, we were in Rome, we were in Italy. So we decided to spend the Christmas all together in Rome, So, my mom was cooking for days. You know how Italian moms are, especially Christmas time, pasta, everything. My mom was cooking. I wanted to let them feel welcoming. And they came like on the 22, 23 of December. So we spent a few days of Christmas together. Boxing Day, we decided to go Rome. Because, of course, you don't show the Colosseum to the mom and the brother that they never saw. So we go Rome. We start taking contents in front of the Colosseum. We do some picture, blah, blah, blah. As soon as we keep walking around the Colosseum, I literally, as well as I'm speaking to you, I turn to my ex-girlfriend back then, and I tell her, hey, baby, apart from all these pictures, shall we do a funny content? I don't know, a funny story or a TikTok I don't know. What can we do? Maybe we do like it seems that I'm proposing to you, but maybe I fall off on the floor or something funny happen. I don't know. And initially, as soon as the mom heard this, of course, mine was just a suggestion, a proposal that I was clearly discussing with my ex-girlfriend. But then, as soon as the mom started hearing this, she started kind of chit-chatting about me in half Turkish and English, start accusing me. After imagine the situation, we were spending a lovely time Christmas together, and she started acting like this to me. Initially, because there were also my mom and my sister there, I went for a 2-3 minutes walk, and I left everyone there. So I just went behind the corner to calm 1 second myself. I come back, she was still chit-chatting about me. And it's always the same, everyone has a limit. I always feel like, you see the biggest anger of a person you see from someone with a good heart. In that case, I was really genuinely there for them, tried for them to have a good time. And having this person on the back of my ear, that trying to interfere between me and Ekin in the relationship, I don't think I'm the first one that had a situation like that with a mother-in-law. So I just, I couldn't stand there. The way she was accusing me out of nothing, just out of because I proposed a funny TikTok or story, an Instagram story to my girlfriend. I never proposed to her. I never got on one knees. I could swear on everything I have in my life that I could lose as I talk now. I never got on one knees. I never proposed to her. Whatever she be saying is basically bullshit. Bullshit. Chit-chatting, half Turkish, half English. I couldn't even understand. I said, basically, oh, you know what? Fuck you. Fuck off. Yes, I said. But it was a consequence. It's not that I'm crazy that I wake up in the morning and I start acting crazy in front of the Colosseum. Since day one she entered in the villa, I saw the person she was. I'm not saying that I'm a saint. I have my responsibility. I'm not saying I'm an angel. But at least I don't go out there and see, oh, I'm the victim. She was this, and that. I've been quiet for 8 months. We broke up in January. We are today, 20th of September. I even moved to LA. I'm starting a new life. I moved on. And she's still talking about me. And she talked about me in Big Brothers. And she talked about me in the book. And she talked about me in interviews. 8 months after. You know what I mean? It's really petty. And then she says, someone told me she's saying, oh, she's happy now. She's moving on, blah, blah. If you're really happy, moved on. Don't talk about me. Move on for your life. You know what I'm trying to say? I'm really happy and I moved on so far. And I'm actually, if I was feeling the most miserable and depressed man next to her for 2 years for the way she was treating me, I actually feel good now. But I don't go into about her to you because of all the things she's been saying about me, and I cannot just shut up. Otherwise, people think it's true.
Tell me, have you actually read the book?
No, are you joking?
Obviously, we've talked a lot about how Ekin basically tells a very different story to what you say. It tells a lot of lies in the book. But it's not just about you that you believe she's been untruthful with in the book as well. I mean, I think you believe that she's omitted a lot of details about her own background and, things like her parents' divorce. And I guess you believe she's crafted a story about her background which isn't true.
I mean, I'm no one to say that whatever she drafted in the background is not true. But because my parents are divorced as well, I can just say some things that I don't know how she can give this much time to the parents divorced and this much time to exes like me or exes or whatever. I mean, the parents divorce, especially when you're young, affect a lot the life of someone. And I could speak for hours and pages, and I could write a book just probably only about my parent divorce. So the only things that I see is a bit of weird, like when she need to accuse someone like me or like her, she talk for pages. But when it's something truthful that would affect any normal person in the world, she just say, oh, I'll talk later about this. Oh, I will go back later about this. But then she never go back there. This is why, I mean, I lived there 2 years. I know. I know I don't do bad to people. I just wait for the universe to do bad to them. And I know that sooner or later she will understand you cannot live like this.
She claims that when she wrote the book, it was a very therapeutic experience. What do you say about that? Yeah.
Yeah, she also claimed that she started writing the book after we broke up, which is bullshit. Well, she was talking with someone, actual writer, that the writer was writing, and the deal was maybe 2 months after we came out from the show. So I was actually next to her. I was in the other room when she was talking to the writer and saying things that was gonna be on the book. So I knew most of it even before she even announced that she was going to have a book. I knew most of the book because I was next to her. The only part that I was missing is the part about me. Because, of course, if we were together, she was going to avoid that.
You've said before that you believe she's got a very convenient timing with breaking up with people. She breaks up with the before going into Love Island. She breaks up with you before going on to Traitors. Do you believe that that there was maybe some pre-planning in breaking up again so that she could release the book?
So after the argument with the mom and everyone, I told her, you know what? Come in the hotel room, face me, let's talk. Then if you want to leave, leave. At least let's talk. We both are 30 years old. She refused. In brackets, why she refused? Because the mom was next to her. So she refused. The morning after, I told her, listen, I'm not going to the Alps in Italy and bringing all your stuff with me. So if you are not coming, I'm going to leave your stuff at the reception. Because she ignored me, I leave her stuff at the reception. At that point, she wake up. She's like, oh no, what are you doing? Blah, 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 blah. I said, listen, I'm a man of word. Last night, I've been waiting all day, all night for you to come in the room and talk and then take your decision. If you want to go and sleep with your mom and brother, go and sleep with your mom and brother, but please face me. And she refused. So the morning, I put all her stuff in the reception. And I said, I'm going to the north of Italy to ski. If you want, I'll see you there. So she flew back to London, left her mom and brother there, and then came back to the ski holiday. We spent 1 week in ski. She can say whatever. For me, it was done, blah, blah, blah. The truth is there. She, and I'm going to show you, she was acting globally. And 5 days after we come back to England, how can you do something like this? It's basically her surprise with roses, balloons, petals of roses around the room. How can you do something like that if deep inside you was actually finished? 5 days after, so 5 of January-ish, we come back to England. I go out to Manchester. As soon as we separate, I remember the scene was like a film scene like now. There was the V-Class, the Mercedes V-Class waiting for me under her house. She comes out from the door, baby, give me another kiss, baby, blah, 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 blah. It was a film scene, two of us kissing, me jumping on the car and leaving for Manchester. After that, the drama. I don't even remember how we started arguing. There was something wrong in Davide back then. Even the way I was acting, partying every week. I'm in LA since May, now it's September. I probably went out having a drink once, I'm 29. For 15 years of my life, I've been, training in the gym, swimming, running, always caring about my wellness, my health. And, I'm not going to lie. Yes, in the last year in England, I've been partying a bit quite often, but I think there was a way to escape the reality, or a way to escape a situation at home that was not making me feel comfortable and happy. I don't remember who said that, but there was someone that said that the worst reason is being, at home. How was that quote? I was feeling in prison. I was feeling, not be able to love myself.
So just moving on from Ekin-Su for a little bit as well, because it's not been a good year for you for many reasons. I mean, you've not just had the issues with Ekin. Back in April there was the issues where you were caught on camera preparing a balloon. You've also been robbed recently as well, which has been in the press. I guess just talking about both of those incidents separately. Let's just go back to the April thing when you lost your Boohoo Man deal as well.
I feel like in April has been a bit of bad luck. Yes, I was not around to good people in terms of people say, tell me who the 5 people more close around you are, and I'll tell you who you are. So I feel like I was around no very good people. The baby put myself in wrong circumstances, put myself in the wrong environment, and because I was having already a bad time at home, a bad time with my relationship and everything, I was probably a bit weak and vulnerable. I was not strong enough to remove myself from some circumstances. So my error back in April has just been being in the wrong place in the wrong time, because I was actually not doing nothing myself. But of course, I was not in a nice environment around. But I was not doing nothing myself, balloons or whatsoever the press tried to claim. Of course, if the right Davide doing balloons is gonna make more clicks than Davide is in a party, but he's not touching nothing. I mean, it's clickbait. So I've been sad.
How did you feel when you lost the Boohoo Man contract? Did you feel that was not fair?
So to be honest with you, this is something I want to clear up. Boohoo Man, I never lost for the balloons. The contract with Boohoo Man ended in November or December, so 2-3 months before, and they were proposing a fee to me that I didn't want to agree. So we didn't have any contract, and I have all the proof to show that the contract ended in November. I lost Cymax, yes. Cymax, I was face of brand for a fitness brand, so I kind of understand them. The only things that I didn't understand them is that on our contract there was written that in cases a circumstance like this was going to happen, they had to give me 10 days to at least say my side of the story. And they didn't allow me that. So I could have gone back to them and say, listen, according to the contract, you didn't give me 10 days. Yes, I had these things in my hand, but clearly it doesn't show me doing. So you're actually in fault to closing the contract with me. But I didn't do that because I'm the kind of person that they want to close. We move on, another door open. I don't chase anymore anyone in life. And I think, you know why? I removed everything from my Instagram bio. And so the journalist thought, okay, he lost everything. And no, the actually only things that I lost after the thing was the Cymax collaboration.
So let's talk about the robbery that happened recently as well. That's probably one of the latest things that's been in the press about yourself. How did that happen?
So the robbery has been actually bad. Like me and the person that I'm living now with, they took nearly more than $1 million in goods, bags, cash, watches. They took all the safe. We believe there was an inside job because we moved in this house, in this new house. So we started renting a new house. Well, it was a villa, and we entered in this house on Tuesday. And these people entered on Sunday. And I feel like I moved personally my watch and my cash on Saturday night. And on Sunday morning, I put them in the safe. And even the person that I'm living with moved all the stuff, bags and everything on the Friday. So we believe it's an inside job because how can people know that both of us moved the stuff on that weekend in that house? If it was someone that was just following me because maybe I'm a celebrity, they will feel like, okay, maybe there is some stuff in the apartment of Davide in West Hollywood. Or if there was a person that was just following me, but the fact that they were so sure to enter, go in the changing room, and find all the stuff, it clearly showed it could be an inside job. We hired a personal detective. We done our research, but sometimes law is hard. So even if we had some suspects, we actually cannot say, okay, is that person. We have some suspects. So we had some suspects, but there's no much you can do. I feel like, police here in LA is a bit like in Italy. It's not like in Dubai. So I'm just now trying to focus on work. It is what it is. On everything material, sooner or later, I'm going to go away. If it's a nice car in 10 years, it's going to be not anymore nice. If it's a watch, maybe in 10 years, I'll give it to my son. So I still don't have. So of course it's hurtful, but it's material things. If we die tomorrow, we don't have anyway.
So where has your mental health been over the last year? I mean, there's been some very stressful occasions, some very dark moments. How have you been coping?
I think the worst moment was back with the first breakup. I remember because yes, we had a personal circumstance with Ekin. I had a lot going on the press, on the Instagram, on socials. Social media are beautiful until everything goes good. But when you start receiving harassment, hate, hurtful comments, they become a nightmare. And I think the worst moment for me was the first breakup. And also this explains why in Ibiza, I probably had the best of my behavior. But imagine a 20 years old guy that is having a nightmare on the press. He's having a personal circumstance with the ex-girlfriend. They broke up with the ex-girlfriend. They receive a lot of harassment and hate on socials. I go to Ibiza, do 3 days of work, like no drinking and nothing. The last day, as soon as work is done, I want a bit liberate myself as well. And I had a few drinks. I'm in Ibiza, I'm 27. Yes, I didn't act at the best of my occasion, but the way people try to picture me after that is kind of bad. It's pretty embarrassing. Like, make yourself alive. And that man will never go out there and try to drag the men down. As I will never, I never went out and tried to say things around her. I mean, I'm doing now because it's also time that I try to defend myself. Doesn't seem a behavior of a person that actually love me. Then I leave other people, the chance to make their own conclusions.
Let's finish this on a positive note then. Obviously, you're in LA now. Like you say, you're looking forwards and upwards despite these dark days, you know, the breakups, the robberies. You're studying acting. I mean, I don't know if you're planning on being in LA for a long time, but, you know, what does the future hold for Davide? You know, where are you going to be in 12 months? Are there some more girls on the scene? What's the future?
So the future, I could say, yes, I moved to LA. It's already now 3-4 months, and I need to be honest, I love this here. Of course, I still would like to come back in England at some point, because for me, as I said, sometimes I feel more home in England than in Italy. You know, in Manchester, for me, you know, I have friends, it's like a family for me. And I feel more at home there. So for sure, I would like to go back in England very soon. But for the time being, I'm happy in LA, you know. The weather is better, I'm not gonna lie. You can understand me because you moved to Dubai. The weather is better, you know, there are a lot of opportunities also, you know, for the industry I'm now in, is in entertainment. You know, there are a lot of prospects. Plus, you know, it's good for real estate, for everything I do. It's amazing here. Plus, I feel like for the next few months, for sure, I will be here. For sure, I'm gonna be here for the next few months. But I want to come back in England at some point. I mean, I will always be in a bit back and forward between here, England, sometimes Dubai as well. It depends where the business bring me.
And what is the current business? What contracts have you got? What income have you got? You know, I know you're studying for the act.
Yeah, in the last 3 months, you know, after the thing that happened with the Cymax, I decided to take a break. I mean, I had enough investment. I'm gonna be honest, I had enough investment money on the side that would allow me to keep living and to take a break. So I genuinely wanted to focus my whole this summertime on the acting school, and that's why I just wanted to do that. Now from September moving forward to Christmas, I'm actually working on a project that I don't want to say much yet, but I'm working on something, you know, to show people probably my personality more. Let's say like that. I know people love the, you know, my personality, my values, my humorism. So I'm trying to work something out to show them this more, because it's what they want, I know.
Well, listen, Davide, it's been a pleasure to talk to you, buddy. You know, I really appreciate the honesty, you know, the hard days that you've had to look back on to tell us these stories, and I appreciate you choosing us as the forum to talk about this exclusively.
Thank you, Matt. It's been lovely, and I'm glad we've been able to do this, you know, even from far distance. I know, you know, being a person would have been better, but, you know, we still had a lovely conversation. I'm glad. So yeah, thanks for having me. You know, maybe we'll have another chat soon about something else.
And when you can make it over to this side of the world, I'll love to see you in Dubai.
I will do. I'll message you for sure.
Hey, Matt here. Thanks for listening to Stripping Off with Matt Haycox. But did you also know I've got another podcast, No Bollocks with Matt Haycox? Both of these are very different. If you're enjoying the deep dives with the guests that I have every week on Stripping Off, then you're going to love the quick, short business tips, strategies and tactics I give you on No Bollocks. This comes out nearly every day. Make sure you go and check it out on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you listen to your content, and I'll see you in a future episode.